Hello, Dr. Don Eigler, physicist and world-famous nanotechnologist. Welcome and congratulations. How does it feel to receive this honorary doctorate from the University of Warwick?
It's a remarkable feeling because you don't really know how to feel. It's one of those things that doesn't happen to you every day. And so it's a mixture of anticipation, excitement. There's a degree of uniqueness about this experience for which I am certainly not prepared. We'll just give it a go and see how it works out.
Well, in 1989, just to explain why you're here, you were the first person to use scanning tunneling microscopy to actually arrange individual atoms on a surface, and you wrote the letters IBM, and this image appeared on the front cover of almost every broadsheet newspaper in the Western world, and it became the poster image for nanotechnology. Did you ever imagine you'd become one of those famous scientists?
Oh no, absolutely not. One doesn't plan one's life around these things, and manipulating atoms was not a particular goal which I had set out for myself. It in some ways sort of happened by accident. It was a result of the research that I wanted to do just happened to also put me and my team in a position where it was just right in front of us, and we had, hey, we think we can move atoms. Let's move them and see what happens.
Wow.
That's the way it worked.
So it was a happy accident? You moved
yes
towards it?
And no. Absolutely happy. That's certainly yes. Accident, no. Although we didn't, yes and no. We did not plan. We did not set out to move atoms, but there was years and years and years of very hard work and research to do something which no scientist had ever done before, to put ourselves in a position to explore aspects of nature which no one ever had the chance to look at before. And that came about because of our efforts to build a tunneling microscope which operated at very low temperatures. And that opened up this very broad vista of new possibilities. And in that vista, right in front of us was atom manipulation. And when you stub your toe on something, there it is.
Yeah. And so I hear that before you wrote IBM, I believe that you also wrote the words, "I'm really having fun."
Not with atoms.
Not with atoms.
And it was, I can't remember whether it was before or right afterwards. I think it was right after. It was right when we were learning our second technique for moving atoms with the tunneling microscope. And as scientists working in the laboratory, it's imperative that we keep a laboratory notebook where we record what we are doing. And usually it's pretty dry stuff. We're writing down data, numbers, how we've adjusted things, how things are changing. I think I just picked up and put down an atom for the third time. You always have to show reproducibility in science, otherwise it's not science. And I just really wanted to record how I felt at that moment in my laboratory notebook, and I was really having fun. And so I wrote down in very big letters, scribbled all across my laboratory notebook at that time, "I'm really having fun."
And so how much of your career has it been about having fun?
It is not something that we talk about in the sense that, now I'm going to design my career to have fun. Or if you're a professor and you're talking to your students and say, okay, let's design your life, or let's just make sure you're having fun doing. That's not the way we approach things. And yet it is, without doubt, a hugely important component of our professional lives and our non-professional lives. If having fun, enjoying yourself at what you're doing, does very much bring out the best in you, and it makes your life just so much more enjoyable. It's important.
You have joked that Richard Feynman, one of the world's greatest ever physicists, has talked to you from beyond the grave. I've seen your TED talk when you discovered questions in one of his papers that you seem to be answering. How does it feel to be answering some of those questions that he left behind?
It was really remarkable. He wrote this paper, and he gave a talk back in end of 1958 or 1959, I forget exactly which year, about the possibilities of building things on a small scale. And the words that he wrote really had direct connection, direct resonance with what we had done when we had moved atoms for the first time. And I had a vague recollection of that he had written this paper, and not long after we first moved atoms, I found a copy of that paper. I had the librarian at Caltech sent me a copy, and I was reading this, and it was just made my body tingle. It was like, here's this guy writing 30 years before or more, 30 years before, writing about exactly what we had just accomplished. But back then it was a vision of what the future would hold for us. And there it was, the future had arrived.
Yes. And so do you have any thoughts about what questions you might be setting for the next generation of physicists? What will you be leaving unanswered?
There's so much in physics to be explored still. Many people that I run into sort of think that we know it all. Anybody who I think, my view is anyone who has that opinion that we're close to knowing it all is just lazy. They're failing rather to ask themselves about what it is that they don't really understand. So the boundaries, I think, we're nowhere near the boundaries. We keep on coming up with unexplained things.
Yeah.
Some of the big mysteries we confront today are how to unify the theories of gravity with quantum mechanics. There's this question, what is dark matter? What is dark energy? These are huge questions that lie in front of us, and they're just waiting for somebody.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to be a sleuth, go get them.
Go get them.
The questions are out there.
And would that be your advice to the next generation of young researchers who are trying to push back those frontiers of scientific endeavour?
My advice is not that I'm an expert at giving advice. In fact, I think there's ample evidence to prove the contrary. But were you to twist my arm and force me to give advice to any young scientist, it would be to find out what it is about science that you really love doing. What is it that turns you on? And then try like hell to make that a component of your daily life as a scientist. And if you can do that, good things will happen.
Great. And you touched on it just briefly a moment ago, but why would you suggest physics to a young scientist as an area to go into?
Oh, because physics is so cool.
It is cool.
It
is cool.
No, every science has its own unique things to offer a person, and it's just a matter of where your interests lie. In my case, even when I was really young, I was fascinated by how things work. I was always designing and building things and trying to get them to do something, to work. And then that grew into a desire to try to understand how the natural world works. And that leads directly, of course, to physics.
Absolutely. Well, Don Eigler, thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Oh, thank you.